The crystal glass hit the marble floor before she realized her hand was shaking. It shattered into 1,000 glittering pieces, scattering across the grand ballroom like fallen stars. Celine's heart stood frozen, her pulse hammering not from the noise, but from the man standing across the room. Dominic Graves, the billionaire who had once promised her forever, and then vanished without a word. 3 years had passed, yet the moment their eyes met, time folded in on itself. He looked just the same, sharp suit, calm demeanor, that quiet intensity she could never forget. Her breath caught, but she forced composure. "Mr. Graves," she said coolly, her voice steady despite the tremor beneath it, "I see you still know how to make an entrance." Dominic's lips twitched, part smile, part regret. "And you still know how to command a room." The crowd chuckled softly, unaware of the storm silently brewing between them. The night was supposed to be her triumph. Her label, Heart Atelier, had just been named Designer of the Year, the ultimate symbol of how far she'd come since he left. But fate had other plans. Dominic Graves, the man who had walked away with her heart and her peace, was standing in the front row, applauding. 3 years ago, he had sworn to never hurt her. Then he disappeared, leaving nothing but a note. "I'm sorry, don't wait for me." She had waited anyway, until waiting became a weakness. Now, looking at him, all she could feel was the ache of unfinished chapters. "You've changed," Dominic said softly, stepping closer. "You're stronger now." Celine's tone was ice. "And you're still exactly the same, rich, powerful, and full of excuses." He winced. "I came here to explain." "Explain," her laugh was brittle. "You think a few words can fix what you broke. If you've ever loved someone who broke a promise, stay till the end, because what happens next will hit deep." Once, Celine was a dreamer, sketching dresses in a tiny apartment, barely making rent. Dominic was the golden son of the Graves empire, a man used to getting everything he wanted, except peace. They met by accident at an art gala. Her design had been mistaken for another's, and Dominic had been the only one who saw the truth. "I don't believe in accidents," he'd told her, "only fate pretending to be shy." He became her biggest supporter, investor, confidant, lover. Their worlds collided, and for a while it felt like destiny. Until the night, he vanished without warning. Now, standing under the same chandelier where their love once bloomed, Dominic finally spoke the words she never thought she'd hear. "I left because I had no choice," he said. "My family was on the brink of ruin. My father demanded I end things with you. He said you were a distraction, a risk to the family's reputation." Celine blinked back tears. "And you obeyed him." "I thought I was protecting you," he said quietly. "He threatened to destroy your career before it even began." Her voice trembled with anger. "You protected me by breaking me." He swallowed hard. "I believed I was doing the right thing, but every day since I've known I was wrong." Celine turned away. "Whatever you came here for, Dominic, it's too late." "Don't move. The truth behind Dominic's disappearance will shock you. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next." As Celine started toward the exit, Dominic's voice sliced through the music. "Celine, please, just hear me out." Something in his tone, desperation, regret made her stop. "I didn't leave you because I wanted to," he said, stepping closer. "I was forced to sign a deal, one that required me to disappear." Her heartbeat quickened. "A deal?" "My father discovered we were planning to start a brand together. He threatened to bankrupt you, to blacklist your name from every investor in the industry. The only way to protect you was to vanish." Celine shook her head, tears threatening. "You're lying. You left because you wanted out." Dominic's voice cracked. "If that were true, why am I here now, risking everything just to face you?" Her lips parted, but no words came. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. "Inside this," he said softly, "is the proof, the contract, the threats. Everything I did to save you." Celine stared at the envelope, her hands trembling. Part of her wanted to throw it away. Another part, the one that still remembered his touch, his voice, needed to know. As the orchestra swelled and the lights dimmed, Selene clutched the envelope to her chest. She wasn't ready to forgive, but she wasn't ready to walk away either. Because sometimes the truth doesn't heal. It destroys first. The rain started the moment Selene stepped outside the ballroom. Cold drops streaked down the glass doors, as if the night itself was weeping for her. She stood under the dim streetlight, the envelope clutched tightly in her hand. Her chest rose and fell, heart pounding with fear, anger, and something dangerously close to hope. After 3 years of questions, 3 years of hatting him, she was finally about to get answers. With trembling fingers, she tore the seal open. Inside were 2 things, a letter and a faded photograph of her, taken at her first fashion showcase. Her breath caught. He'd kept it all this time. She unfolded the letter. The handwriting was his, elegant, sharp, unmistakable. Selene, if you're reading this, it means I've finally gathered the courage to face you. The night I left wasn't my choice. My father gave me 2 options, destroy your career or disappear from your life. I chose to disappear. He made me sign a non-compete clause that legally bound me to cut all ties with you for 3 years. If I reached out, even once, the investors funding your dream would pull out instantly. I thought I could live with it. I thought time would numb me, but every sunrise without you felt like punishment. I built my empire again, on my own terms, so that no one could ever use it to hurt you. If you can't forgive me, I'll understand. But know this, every success you've had, every headline you've conquered, I've watched them all with pride. You became everything I knew you could be. Darius. The paper slipped from her trembling hands. The ink blurred as rainwater splashed across the page. He hadn't abandoned her. He had sacrificed her for her. But the wound still hurt. Hours later, the night had grown quieter. Selene stood alone in her studio, staring at the sketches that had once been their shared dream, a fashion line blending elegance and heritage. The door opened behind her. She didn't turn around. I read it, she said softly. Dominic stepped closer, silent, unsure if he was allowed to speak. You let me believe I wasn't enough, she continued. You could have told me the truth. He exhaled shakily. If I had, they would have destroyed everything you worked for. I couldn't take that chance. She turned to face him, eyes glistening but fierce. You took my choice away. You decided what pain I could handle. His voice cracked. I was trying to protect you. She stepped closer, every word trembling with fire. Protection without honesty is control, Dominic. You didn't protect me, you imprisoned me in silence. He looked at her, really looked. The woman before him wasn't the girl he left behind. She was powerful now, untouchable, yet her eyes still carried the ghost of the love they once shared. Selene, he began, voice raw, I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I just needed you to know the truth. Tears welled up in her eyes. You think the truth erases the pain. No, he whispered, but maybe it can help you heal. For a moment, silence hung between them, heavy, fragile, intimate. Then she turned away. You should go. He hesitated, then nodded. If you ever need me, I'll be where it all began. Her breath caught. He meant the art gallery, the place where they first met. The next evening, the city buzzed with life, unaware that one woman's heart was at war. Selene stood before her mirror, the letter on her vanity. Part of her wanted to move on, to close that chapter and never look back. But another part whispered that some promises, even broken ones, are worth understanding. She grabbed her keys. At the old gallery, the lights were dim. Only one figure stood by the window, Dominic, staring out into the rain, holding a small velvet box. She took a deep breath. You waited. He turned, eyes soft. I promised I would. Dominic handed her the box. Inside was a silver ring, the same one he had planned to give her 3 years ago. It's not an apology, he said quietly. It's a reminder. I never stopped keeping my promises, even the ones I broke. Tears slid down her cheeks. You hurt me in ways you'll never understand. He nodded. And I'll spend the rest of my life making it right, if you'll let me. She looked at him, the man who had once been her dream, her pain, and now maybe her second chance. I don't know if I can forgive you, she whispered, but I want to try. Dominic's voice trembled. That's all I'll ever ask. As the rain softened outside, Selene slipped the letter back into its envelope and placed it on the windowsill. Maybe promises aren't meant to be perfect, she said softly. Maybe they're meant to teach us how to love better. Dominic reached for her hand, hesitant, reverent, and for the first time in 3 years, she didn't pull away. The night held its breath as the two stood together. No words left, only the fragile truth that sometimes love, though broken, still finds its way home. If this story touched your heart, drop a heart in the comments. Subscribe to Heartspring TV for more emotional billionaire romance stories every week. Tell us, should Selene and Dominic reunite for good, or should she walk away stronger? Your voice might shape the next story. Thanks for watching.